There are millions of acres of opportunity out there. They belong to you. Every day, decisions are being made that affect your land, your water, your wildlife. You should know about them. This is your mountain. Hey, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of the Your Mountain podcast. I'm your host, David Wilms. I'm sitting here.
What a surprise.
No. I'm sitting here flanked by both of you, both co-hosts. I've got
greatness.
Mike McGrady. I've got Nephi Cole. We're in the same room together. I can't remember the last time we did this.
It's been
all in the same room.
It has been a while. Is this our official anniversary?
It might be.
It's
really close.
It's straddling it. Yeah.
It's right. Yeah, it's right at our
Wish you
our
had some
1 year
Monster
anniversary.
Energy drinks in that fridge over there, Mike. Cheapskate.
You need to bring them all you want. I have beer in there. You can bring your Monster Energy.
We've just been getting so busy with all of our new jobs that it's been hard to get us all in the same room at the same time. Yeah. So this is awesome. We're all in the same room at the same time, and I'm going to tell everybody right up front, we're going to do something quite a bit different tonight. We tend to get pretty wonky. Mm-hmm. You know, in a good way. Like we take pride in being able to provide you a lot of information about pretty complicated topics and try and break them down for you. We're going to do something a little bit different today, and we're gonna have a bunch. I hope we're gonna have some fun here, and this is gonna be more like a backcountry tips kind of episode. We want to let you all know that we actually do. We don't just sit behind a computer screen all the time. We actually do get out into the backcountry and the front country and everything in between. And we have a lot of years of experience doing it. And we kind of want to share some of the tips we've learned over the years in this episode. And hopefully kind of funny tips and useful tips and things that you'll all appreciate. We'll get to that in a minute. I just wanted to let you know that's what we're doing. But first things first, before we get to that, we had a contest that ran actually now it ended about a month ago.
Right.
And we had it was a gun giveaway. Mm-hmm. Right. And
that's a pretty fantastic giveaway.
It was an amazing gun giveaway, and a huge thanks to Nephi for all of his work in working with all of our partners to pull together this dream gun giveaway. Right. So we had, I think it's worth rattling off again, saying thanks one more time to all of our
Gunworks, Proof, Research, Magpul, Vortex Optics, Timney Triggers, Wyoming Arms, Viking Tactics.
And it's Timney?
Because
apparently I got it wrong.
Yeah, and don't forget Federal Premium Ammunition
as well, yep.
Yeah.
No,
Ryan,
Yeah. That was an amazing firearm.
No, it's going to be neat when you put it together. So I wanted to say congratulations to Jason Kaysen. And the reason that Jason did not get back to us sooner is Jason is active military. So he is a Army medic. And so this could not be cooler from my perspective. He was training, and so he's still doing a bunch of training. And so, but that's our winner is Jason Kaysen, and he's training. I think he's training in the Texas area for a while. And he's, by the way, if anybody knows a good gunsmith in San Antonio or Phoenix area, he's looking for one because now he's going to be taking those parts to his smith to have that rifle put together. And so
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we talked quite a bit on he's going to do a 6.5 Creedmoor, which I think is a great choice, based on what he wants to do.
Of course you do.
Yeah,
it's not anything you've ever talked about before.
No,
I've never heard those words out of your mouth, Nephi.
I don't understand anything other than 30-06, but go ahead.
Hey, I love all my children. My 6.5 Creedmoor is one of my favorite.
Awesome.
So yeah, congratulations to our winner. Thank you to everybody that participated. We really appreciate you weighing in, submitting your name into the drawing, and we just wanted to let everybody know out there that we do have a winner. In the gun giveaway, and hopefully we'll be able to do something like this again in the future. It's a pretty good deal. It's pretty cool.
And he's a neat guy. So
yeah.
I think it couldn't have been a better outcome.
I think that's
unless
great.
it was one of you who's listening is very upset about the outcome, which I'm guessing then you think there could have been a better outcome. But
right, so keep listening, and hopefully we'll have other giveaway opportunities.
Maybe you should get some better karma.
Well, the odds, without telling exactly how many people entered, because I can't remember the exact number, but the odds of winning this dream rifle, just for our listeners out there, you had a better chance of drawing a mountain goat tag in Wyoming on a random draw. You had a better chance of drawing a moose tag with 0 preference points on a random draw in Wyoming.
So
you had a better chance of drawing a bighorn sheep tag. Heck, you probably had a better chance of drawing the super tag.
So now they're all depressed.
But anyway,
now they're all depressed because you're not going to get those either.
the drawing odds were not great. We had a lot of participation, which really
thank you,
had us excited. So really, thank you
everybody,
and thank you to the sponsors for.
It was the first time I've been involved on this side of one of those, and it was really fascinating to kind of put it together and then watch the odds, how they actually work and all those things.
Yeah,
it was interesting.
It was a royal pain, so we're never doing this again.
No, it was it was fine for me.
Yeah,
you're the one that organized all the parts.
Really appreciate all the work you put
companies.
into it, Nephi, and thanks to all the companies, and congratulations to our winner. So, next thing, I want to remind everybody that we can't do these kinds of giveaways without having listeners. So thanks, and we say this, I'm like a broken record on this, but thanks again to everybody for tuning in and listening to this podcast. And if you haven't done it already, head out to wherever you get this podcast and give us a 5-star rating. Leave us a review. That's one, helps prove that we have people listening, and two, those types of comments, reviews, that's the kind of motivation. That's our fuel. Money's not our fuel on this. Understanding that people enjoy listening to what we put out there is our fuel to keep doing this.
Even if you have a different podcast and you keep repeating us.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, the reality is that the more people we get to write those comments and do those star ratings, the higher we become available to other people within the search parameters, the way iTunes sets it up and all that. So it's really important to us to have that.
We said we weren't going to be wonky, but guess what, folks?
Yeah.
We
can't help it.
Well, it's because I'm on.
These three dudes.
But let Mike finish this, because this is an important piece on the rankings.
I mean, if you haven't done it yet, please do, because obviously you're enjoying the podcast if you listen this far. And there are other people that would too if they knew. And the only way they're going to know about it is if enough people give us those ratings and give those comments, because that just expands the opportunity for other people to find us.
Yeah, and this is not like your hunting spot where, like, if you share it, like, it's going to harm you. So
it can only do good things.
Yes.
Right, if you share it.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
So share away. All right. So we're going to start getting into things, but the first thing I want to do, because I know the three of us here all have kids, and I'm guessing a bunch of our listeners have kids. Last year, Mike and I put in for a tag together on a party application for a deer tag. And we had the intention of taking our oldest daughters, who are the same age and the same grade. They just finished up 5th grade this week. Yeah. Right? So we had the intention of taking our oldest daughters on a deer hunt last year. And we drew this deer tag that, frankly, this was a place I used to hunt all the time. When I was a kid, it was an area I hunted all the time. Grew up hunting there. About 10 years ago or so, it went from a general license to a limited quota draw. And I have not been able to draw that tag since it went limited quota. The first year, it had a 90% success rate, and I couldn't draw the tag.
You're a 2%er, Dave.
I was, yeah. And then each subsequent year, the drawing odds have gone down and down and down. Well, last year it was under a 50% success rate on the draw. Long story short, Mike and I drew, got really excited, felt miraculously. We drew this tag, and we were excited. Our daughters were thrilled.
Our wives took our daughters to hunter safety, so all 4 of them could go through the course together.
That's right. So our wives both took hunter safety.
Yeah.
Our daughters took hunter safety, and the plan was we're going to take them out there. They weren't old enough to actually deer hunt.
Right.
But we wanted to take them on a bona fide deer hunt.
A mountain hunt.
A mountain hunt, right?
Because we've taken them hunting, ranch hunting.
Right. Yeah, they've been on deer hunts, but they haven't been on what we would classify as a mountain, mule deer hunt in the Rocky Mountains. Right.
Yeah.
So that was the plan. And then Mother Nature threw us a curveball and burned up the whole area during the season.
There might have been podcasts about that.
There might have been. There was a gigantic fire that burned this place up.
September, October 2018 podcast where we recorded in the midst of that happening.
And I got to say, nobody really, Nephi's sitting here like, why in the world are they saying this? But so we drew these, the season got shut down. Mm-hmm. We were offered a refund, and being the good lawyers we are, we're like, a refund's not going to do.
That's right.
We need to have those licenses next year.
Dave actually said, I remember writing a regulation that said we could apply for a deferral.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So we went and pled our case, asked for a deferral, got the deferral, and I just wanted to make note that I got my license in the mail last week.
I did too.
Yes.
I absolutely did too.
And so now we're going to try it again this year, and maybe they'll be hauling bows around with them.
Maybe. Yeah, so Megan, or my daughter, who is in the same class in school with your daughter.
Yeah.
She did 4-H a couple years ago just to do the bow, and kind of dropped it, and I wasn't sure about it. But apparently in 5th grade this year at their school, they used bows in PE.
They did.
Yeah, and the great thing about Wyoming is that in winter they can shoot bows in a tiny cafeteria that's the gymnasium that actually you went to when you were a child.
I did. That's a weird thing. You didn't need to bring that up.
But so fortunately my kid liked it enough that for her 11th birthday she asked for a bow, the same bow that they shoot in school, and I was like, okay, let's go down to the archery shop. I took her down there today. It was a very proud dad moment of, what color bow do you want?
What color bow did she want?
Pink.
I forget. I know.
My daughter does not want pink. She's made it crystal clear.
Is that little compound bow with no let off? Is that like
it's called a Genesis.
Yep.
Yeah. So in the archery, I actually went in a couple of weeks ahead of time to talk to the local archery shop, and he said, you could get this for whatever the price is. You could spend a little bit more, and we've got one that she could use for the rest of her life. And I was like, okay, I get that. But I don't know that my kid has got to do that forever. And so
that's a great starter bow.
Yeah, no, it's a perfect starter bow. It's what she used in school, and so she's accustomed to using it. And
she's comfortable with it.
I felt like that was more important for the whole recruitment stage.
Yeah.
So we went down today, and when she got to pick that out, and for her birthday, we asked all of the relatives to give her money to buy accessories. So we'd pay for the bow. And then she
bedazzled it.
Yeah, right. So she needed to buy her arrows. She needed to buy her target. If she wanted a rest, she'd do that. She would quiver, any of those things, right? And so it wasn't just buy a bow. It was how to appropriately budget for hunting,
right?
For buying these things that can really suck you in. And so it was a lot of fun taking her down there. It was a great moment as a dad, having her pick it out. Really, I was checking out at the cash register with the guy, and I said, well, go get the target you want. And I looked back, and target's too heavy. So I'm like, hold on. I had to literally walk back to the back of the store and help her lift up the target and bring it home, bring it up to the register and all that. And of course, while I was there, it was pretty cool because I was able to bring in my wife's dad's bow that he had in the 60s or 70s. It's a recurve.
You were showing that to us earlier. I'm actually looking at it. It's leaning against the wall of Studio 1A.
Right. I'm pretty sure it's a recurve that's one of the first non-wood bows that was made. So I brought it in and I said, do you think this needs a new string? And he's like, nah, it's fine. It's frayed like crazy. I was like, well, maybe a little wax or something. He's like, it's pretty light. I was like, no, it's a 50-pound draw. And he's like, oh. So we got a new string, and then I had to get some new feather fletched arrows and all that. And then after lunch, I said, let's go shoot this. So I took the daughter out, and she managed to, fly 3 arrows out, and I shot 3 arrows out. And then in true Wyoming fashion, we had to dart for the truck, and then the hail started. So
yeah, it hailed a lot today.
Yeah, it did.
Like 3 different times.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
So, but that's the great thing is one of our city parks has a nice outdoor range to shoot at.
Free. Yeah, like a city park with a free outdoor range.
But the great thing is that my wife happened to listen to our prior episode on with the women bow hunters, and now wants to get the membership at the range over by Nephi's house.
Yep. It's where the fine people shoot their
I love how you said at that, and I've shot at that place several times, but I hadn't shot the way you described, which was opening the men's bathroom door and
if
shooting
you're members of the
from
range,
the toilet.
please don't tell anybody to do this. But if you go late enough at night, there's nobody there. If you want to get that last pin, stretch it a little bit. If you back up to the restrooms and then shoot from on top of the toilet in the men's bathroom, you can get you can stretch another 10 yards.
I love that. I love that.
As long as nobody walks in while you're doing that, it's all good.
Now you've got a son that's
my
got
son,
a birthday coming up.
Yeah,
right?
and I've got a bow for him. It's a diamond. He asked for one too, so Diamond makes one. It's called an Infinite Edge. And it's pretty neat because it goes from 5 pounds to 55 or 60, and then a 13-inch draw to a 31-inch draw. And so it's a type of bow that I think it's flexible enough that you can use it for he'll be able to use it for quite a while, and then when he grows out,
right-handed?
It is for it's for righty. Yeah.
Do you think in about 5 years he'll be outgrown? I'm just asking for my kid.
Asking for a friend.
I think he'll use it. The difference is because it has let off. So that one that you just bought, it's perfect because the draw length, basically you don't have to worry about the draw length. Yours is a single cam, that Genesis is, and so it's really easy to set up. You can pass it from one person to another person immediately.
Right, which is why they use it in fifth grade.
And school archery programs across the nation use it. It's a great bow.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So get into archery. Take your kids.
No, agree. Let's talk backcountry.
Okay.
So do it.
Yeah. So here's what I wanted to do. Nephi and I have talked about this a lot. We hunt very differently.
Yes.
Right. We definitely hunt differently. Have different styles, not just in how we hunt, but with
all sorts of things.
Where and what,
the type of equipment we use,
So
I thought it would be fun, and I'll throw it out like this, and we can go whatever direction we want with it. But I thought it would be fun to have a discussion about, we've all made fun of me, right? I'm cheap. We get that I'm cheap. I'm going to share a few of the things that, of my cheapness, a few of the things that, I don't know if it's the shortcuts or just the tips I've got, the things that I do being really cheap, that I have found very useful in the backcountry that just don't cost you much to make you safer, and you're going to count not safer than people that spend more money, but
so what you're describing is the hunt hacks for Dave.
Yeah, the hunt hacks.
These are life lessons. These are
life lessons from all of us.
Different
perspective. And I know Nephi is going to come at it from the a perspective.
Honesty. I'm going to have honesty and integrity. Everything I tell you is going to be true.
His is coming at it from the empty wallet portion of the willing to spend whatever it takes. We'll spend whatever it takes. Mortgage his future for a comfortable weekend in the mountains, right?
You bet I will.
I know you will.
There's no guarantee there's tomorrow, my friend.
And then Mike probably falls in and is
I'm in between.
The most in between and reasonable. So should we start with an extreme, or should we start with?
Just go.
Just go.
Go.
All right.
What you got?
I'm going to give you one here.
Okay.
And I hear people talk about paracord a lot. So it's not going to come as any surprise that I would say I take a lot of paracord with me.
When you say paracord, do you mean jute twine?
You mean actual paracord?
Is that a euphemism, or are you actually buying
people
paracord?
Use for yours is made on.
I'm buying a knockoff of paracord. I'm probably I might be weaving it myself. I won't tell you how I come across this. You didn't get it
at the farm and ranch store. It's not red and goes on a baler. It's not.
It is not that. No, it's legitimate.
Then.
It's legitimate. But here's what I do with it. So I take quite a bit, and I know you're going to hear people say, and everybody's heard this, right? You can use paracord for so many things. You can use paracord to create a harness to drag an animal. I've done that before. You can use paracord to hang animal quarters from trees. I've done that before, right? But I'm going to ask you this question, because this has happened to me several times, and this is one of the reasons why I take paracord. When you are deep in the backcountry, and I'm talking this has happened to me on backpacking trips where I'm 30 miles from my truck.
Did you go ahead?
And I'm tying my boots and my lace snaps. Guess what a great temporary boot lace is?
So how
paracord.
Thick, how thick is your paracord?
It's not like big around as my wrist. I'm using pretty thin paracord, like shoelace thick.
Shoelace, okay.
Yeah, very intentionally thin.
It's 550 cord.
Okay, but how long do you bring? Because I've bought paracord where it'll sell it in certain lengths, and I'll just throw it in the backpack, and then I realize, well, that's too heavy. So how long are you?
Paracord are you carrying?
Well,
paracord's pretty light.
Have you seen me unpack? I think an unexperienced man.
Climbing rope and paracord are different things, Mike. I've seen you shoulder that
backpack with
rope.
Like 10,000 yards of paracord in it.
So.
I'll bring anywhere from it depends on where I am, but anywhere from 20 to 40 feet.
Okay.
See, I'll bring 50 feet, no problem.
Yeah, no big deal. It
so
doesn't
my
weigh that
100-foot, index finger width.
That's not attached to like anybody's parachute.
What are you hauling out with 1-inch diameter paracord?
It's in case the chopper shows up and they're like,
yeah,
the hoist isn't long enough.
The deal is that I hunt with people bigger than me, and so
that is not paracord. He just threw a wad of rope.
Yeah, he did. It's rope
on the table.
It's legitimate.
It was sitting in his closet.
It is
and it
not
is like,
paracord.
This stuff, you're not getting this through the lace of anybody's shoe.
Well, so, and that is when I finally cut it down to the appropriate weight.
Why don't I give you some paracord? I've got some in my truck outside.
1,000 times longer than that.
Yeah, but that's not paracord. I don't know what you're hauling around. It's like 9 pounds of rope.
This looks like you're getting ready to go hang people.
Like I'm expecting you next throw out crampons and an ice axe.
Counselor.
Do you guys not care? Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting.
All right, Mike. I appreciate. Now I'm afraid to go to you for a hack after I've seen this.
Before you go there, I appreciate that because this last year we did have to hang up some stuff, right? When we were elk hunting this year, and I did realize I carry way too much stuff.
Yeah, you do.
I bought a hunting grade slingshot. And it's the kind that is, I know, it's the kind where the handle is designed where you can wrap paracord.
It actually shoots Nosler partitions.
Yeah. Well, it shoots a 50 caliber at a lethal velocity for an animal, but the handle on it actually is designed to wrap paracord around it.
Can I tell the story of why you got that slingshot?
Sure.
If I get this right, if I get it wrong, correct me.
Oh, sure.
But you bought so we were elk hunting one year, and it was late in the evening, and it was dusty and dry, and we hadn't seen or heard anything all day.
We ain't found.
We hadn't seen anything, and until we saw this blue grouse.
Oh yeah,
and blue grouse hopped up on a log, standing on a log.
It was like a shooting gallery at Cabela's or something. I mean,
so it was standing on a log at about 10 yards, and I'm like, Mike, I'm gonna shoot it in the neck, and he's like, with what? My 30-06. And he said, you're not. So yeah, I'm gonna shoot it in the neck, and I did. I shot it.
Yep.
Right in the neck.
Yep.
Killed it. We had it for dinner. It was your first blue grouse that
you
had eaten. It was phenomenal. And but it made a big noise.
It did. The 30-06. Yeah.
So any late evening elk were dispersed by that shot.
Yeah. Our buddy that was, I don't know, half a mile away or whatever was like, "Did you get one? Did you get one?" Yes.
Yeah.
Not what you're thinking.
Yeah, 2 pounds.
Yeah.
Smallest elk ever.
But I can tell you, we cooked up that blue grouse, and I thought, why the hell have I passed these things up?
They're phenomenal.
So that I went and looked at what it would. Well, I was looking at the weight of a 22. If just to have a 22 to carry.
22.
Yeah, absolutely. Carry one of those around. And then I was like, okay, what if I put a silencer cylinder on it, right?
I know I do.
Right. And so because I was worried about that exact same thing, and eventually I was like, well, heck, a bluegrass, you can kill them with a rock or a stick in Wyoming at least.
Yeah.
And so
we should say a dusky, right?
A dusky grouse.
Yeah, dusky grouse.
Yeah, I think I've proven
but
that
we're
going to
call them
about
blue
those
grouse.
labels.
Yeah, right. Blue grouse.
So I eventually I was like, well, I'll just carry a slingshot. That's easy. That's light. That's cheap. I don't have to worry about anything, cleaning anything or doing anything. And all right, so now I carry a slingshot. That's right.
Right.
Yeah. With paracord now around the handles.
Yeah.
That's what you'll be doing this fall.
Yes.
I just want you to know
and I
that
figured out that that's enough length at this point.
I just want you to know that my titanium suppressed P22 is lighter than your slingshot.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right, Mike, redeem yourself.
Taken.
Redeem yourself
Don't think it's possible.
after laying down this rope on the table. Redeem yourself with a hack you've got.
Which is amazing because that's 10% of what I carried for the first 5 years.
It's probably 10% of the weight you had on your back too.
Yeah, probably. So I've refined these are hacks. I've refined the way I carry my food, and I eventually found at a grocery store actually, it's like a Tupperware piece that is divided, and it actually fits everything I need to carry for a day hike, lunch / emergency dinner, in the field. So if you're not spike camping it. Well, even if you are, I guess you could build it. But what I have like a divided. It even has like a snap-on, so it seals in odor, it seals in everything, and it's enough to fit like a Cliff Bar, a hard-boiled egg, Gorp, and all those things in that I normally would care for like a high-protein sort of lunch and then emergency kind of dinner. That's kind of the one, and the nice thing about it is it's nice hard plastic. Throw it in the dishwasher, no problem. When you get back, but it keeps everything from getting crushed. And then every night when we get back, I have it sort of subdivided, and I can throw another day's worth in for the next day's hunt.
I can't make fun of that at all. What I end up, it's probably better than what I do. I buy those. I buy those
little disposable plastic.
No, he buys a log of summer sausage.
No, I make my own summer sausage.
Okay, well, you bring a log of summer sausage and then like a sleeve of crackers.
Yeah, and I put
somehow like half of them are not crushed.
And I put them in an old bread bag.
Yeah.
Just to keep it dry.
And then he sits down and he pulls out the knife that he's going to skin with later, and he just slices off the summer sausage and eats it with a cracker.
Which is delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I usually take string cheese too.
If you put them in a little Tupperware thing like Mike does, then your crackers stay
I know.
crackers.
I think you're right.
Instead of being instead of looking like you're gonna little instead of like you're gonna bread your your summer sausage.
I use an old bread bag, and I just throw my food in the bread bag and twist it off. And,
you eat cocktail food.
That is amazingly cheap. Amazingly cheap.
Oh yeah, no, because he has that
like
summer sausage
the
that he carries with him for 2 days, 3 days.
And it hurts my head.
And it's usually a jalapeno cheddar summer sausage that I've made.
As if Ziploc bags somehow are gonna like make the difference between.
Yeah, I don't use Ziploc bags. They're bread bags.
When hyperinflation comes, you're going to be so sorry you did this. You're gonna be like,
all right, let's hear one of yours.
Okay, I'm going to go with buy once, cry once. And I'm going to say, so mine is going to be, we're going to start with.
Buy once, cry in monthly installments.
I'm going to go with gators.
Gators?
So, hunting and gators. So a lot of people, and I'll talk about like why I think that's
really quickly.
Yes,
I want you to dive into this, but I want to because there are different types of gators. Right? Mm-hmm. Like I hunt when I'm hunting sage grouse, I wear snake gators. You're not talking snake gators.
I'm talking about.
You're talking like snow gators.
It's not a snow gator.
You're talking,
but yeah,
calf high though.
Calf high gators, brush.
So
because I've got like 4-inch gators.
Yep, and
that are just for like dew in the morning. You take them off.
Yeah.
And then I've got the calf high ones for wintertime.
So and you call them winter gators. I'll wear them year round.
Sure.
And here's why. I think a lot of people, like if you look at gators and if you're trying to save money on gators, then you probably don't use them. Or you probably put them in your backpack and you're like, oh, these are for snow. Because the problem with buying gators, if you go out and just get a pair of gators that you think, I don't want to put a dollar value on it, but if you get a less expensive gator, they're going to fail twice. You're going to get wet. You're going to get wet for one of two reasons. You're going to get wet either A, because they leaked. So you got water in them that you're trying to keep out, which is the whole idea, which is the reason you said you were going to bring gaiters in the first place. Or you're going to sweat up, and your socks are going to fill with sweat. Your legs are going to get sweaty. You're going to be uncomfortable, and you're going to wish you weren't wearing the gaiters. All now, right. Here's why I say, if you get a good gaiter, here's a good gaiter. Like, several of the outdoor companies make, a high-end gaiter, and I wouldn't say you don't need to get a mountaineering grade one that looks like it's, made of like, Kevlar, but you want a breathable gaiter that is also flexible. So like Outdoor Research makes some, QU makes a great gaiter, and I'm sure that I know that Cryptek does. I'm sure that all the companies make a good gaiter, and I prefer gaiters that come up basically to your knee. And
that's also my preference too.
Yeah, and then for me, you just put them on and you wear them, and they don't sweat up because they breathe well, and then you never have to stop, Mike, and worry about, I'm walking through grass now. Do I need to take my gaiters off? You never need to. When you get to a stream and you're crossing it, it keeps you like you can cross a stream that's taller than your boot if you do it quickly. As long as you're not standing in the middle of the stream. You can move right through it if you're wearing a good boot, and you don't have to worry about that. If it snows, you really don't care. If you're, whatever kind of brush you're walking and whatever, you're not getting stuff like your pant leg isn't getting hiked up and you're getting garbage in your boots. You're not having to take your boots back off, later, change, all that kind of stuff. So
I got a question about that because, I grew up in Florida, and the only reason I even needed a gaiter at any point in time was because I came out west to backpack. And that was literally just to keep the dew off, get it out of your shoe so you don't have wet socks and all that. I have since acquired gaiters that are taller and longer for snowshoeing and hiking and hunting in snow. And then recently I've bought like scree gaiters because I have low ankle boots. Mm-hmm. And so I find with the tall ones I am sweating. With that, what
gaiter did you buy? And that's exactly what I'm saying.
I bought a like a Cabela's type thing. Yep. It's a Gore-Tex, but so what size boot? Because I felt like if I had a really tall boot, I wouldn't need a gaiter.
No, and
if I had the right sock and if I had the right pant, and so it's the layering.
So some people,
happening. How are you running it that you're not getting the sweat?
Some people use so the boot you're talking about, I don't use a tall hunting boot. If you're talking about those like a Kenetrek that comes like up to the middle of your shin, I typically use a light mountaineering boot. And so like La Sportiva style or, somebody like that, like those, that's my preference is that light mountaineering boot. And typically, like a GTX Gore-Tex, and they're going to be, you're going to pay for a boot like that. You're going to pay anywhere from, if you get them from, Sierra Trading Post on sale, you're going to buy a pair you might get them for $250. You might get them for $400, but they're going to be in that price range where, you're going to pay for a really good boot.
Yeah.
The end. And then I run, but if I do that and you buy a premium sock, okay. And some people buy premium sock, a premium wool sock, don't get this, 1 inch thick, monster sock. You get like a premium.
He's describing exactly how I hunt and purchase things.
A midweight, like a good wool, like a merino sock.
Yeah.
And take an extra pair in case your feet get wet. But but they're probably not going to.
You pack in with you an extra pair of socks?
I do.
Okay.
And typically after I pack in, like when I get up to the spot where I'm going to do most of my hunting for the day or whatnot, like if I do a hard pack in the morning, I'll probably change them after I get up there after a 4-mile hike just to keep my feet dry, because that's how you keep your feet warm.
Are you describing a situation where you have a spike camp, or are you like at a base camp that's set up?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Like any place, I'm going to have an extra. I'm going to have
the miles on
extra pair of socks. It's and here's the other thing I'll do. Like I'm cheating because this is more than one hack, but I have a tiny nylon bag that's like a nylon mesh bag, and I will take one pair of socks off, and if it's dry outside, I'll hang them on the outside of my backpack.
Oh, okay.
And so that other pair is drying out while you're wearing pair number one. And if I'm backpacking, if I'm in like deep someplace, like on a pack. I might only have 3 pairs of socks with me for the entire trip. If they're a quality sock, you certainly don't need more than that.
Well, I would agree with merino. You can get away with it. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's swapping leaving 1 pair at camp during the day and having 2 in your pack.
So I got to tell you a quick.
Okay, that's my hack is hunting. Get good gators and hunting them. You won't be sorry that you did.
I know they saved me 2 years ago when I was with you, but go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to agree with Nephi on this.
Yeah.
Now I don't have I'd call mine mid-quality gaiters. I still get sweat up right from the inside when it's really hot out if I'm wearing the gaiters. But I tend to not wear them unless
if it's early September and you're bow hunting, this changes. But I'm saying and I tend to not. If you're carrying a rifle, wear gaiters.
Yeah, I tend to not wear them unless it's raining or snowing, and then I'll wear my gaiters. But the reason why I have a new pair of gaiters, about 3 years old, and if you want to read all about my old gaiters, I wrote a story.
Did you buy gaiters, the same gaiters I used?
No, he didn't buy them. Someone
gave them to me. I didn't buy any gaiters.
That's how this works.
This is how I get gear. I don't buy anything. We had this conversation out on the mountain a couple of years ago where I'm standing there head to toe, decked out. It's freezing cold. I'm decked out.
That's because I'm looking down at myself. I'm looking at our buddy Chris, and I'm looking at you, and I was like, I think I bought all this myself. I think I bought all this for myself. I earned my money, and I bought my hunting gear. And I looked at you, and I was like, how much of that did you buy?
You're like, you're still wearing stuff from high school. I bet your parents bought you that when you were 17.
Yeah, no, and it wasn't just parents. It was like girlfriend.
Yeah,
girlfriend bought me this hat. Different girlfriend bought me this hoodie.
Yeah.
This was her hoodie. I took it without asking.
But I had gaiters. I got new gaiters because my old gaiters. I was hunting on maybe the coldest experience I've ever had on an elk hunt. Just the absolute most miserable experience ever. And I wrote about this. If you want to hear about it, read about it. Check out
Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation.
Yeah, Bugle magazine about a year ago ran a story that I wrote on this exact experience. But I'd been out there, I don't know, for 8 or 10 hours at this point in just bitterly cold, brutal blizzard, just crazy blizzard. And the gaiters I had on, which, by the way, I'd had since I was like 13 years old. They had a good run, but they literally disintegrated on my legs. It got so cold, they froze and shattered and just fell off my legs. Fell off my legs.
Of their lives.
It was unbelievable. And then, at that point, things turned real bad because I'd been sweating a little bit under there, and then now there's snow packing in, and long story, but it was a miserable experience. So I did get a gift of middle of the road gaiters to replace those, and they're amazing. They're wonderful. Comparatively, they're wonderful. So I'm going to run through like 3 really fast little bitty hacks.
Fast
little hacks.
Okay.
So these are little things that I've kind of picked up over the years, right? And it's just to make life a little more comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I'm not doing this to promote Chick-fil-A. But Chick-fil-A is one of the only places that I find that you can get honey packets pretty easily. So I always take a couple extra honey packets.
Of course you do.
At my trips to Chick-fil-A. Honey is that sugar blast and the flavor of honey that you can put on crackers or with cheese or or just eating straight out of the packet when you're back in the country. Quick calories and energy. It gives you a quick energy boost.
Yeah.
Highly concentrated in that.
Never
and
goes
you don't
bad.
have to. And it doesn't go bad, and you don't have to deal with, bringing that little bear-shaped container, back there with you.
Right.
If you want honey, I'm not saying you have to have honey, but it's something I like to have. I like to have those packets with me.
Don't tell your neighbor.
Yeah, right. I bet he's not listening to this. So that's one. Another thing I do is I buy those little travel shampoo containers, not with shampoo in them.
Wait a minute, you don't buy. You misspoke.
Take them from the hotel that somebody paid.
No, not the ones that have actual shampoo in them. The empty plastic bottles that you can fill with shampoo.
Okay,
right?
so you've cleaned out a free shampoo bottle.
No. I'm going to now because I hadn't actually thought about doing that. So this year, this is what I will do.
Okay, all right.
But for the time being, I have this one. I fill it with olive oil. Because sometimes, even if it's on a day trip, I'll take it with me because I always take a little stove with me. because sometimes.
It's good to know because I'm gonna start packing some Mountain Home if you got a stove in your.
I don't pack Mountain Home, but I might pack Top Ramen or something.
But I might pack Top Ramen if you're bringing a stove.
But I like to have some olive oil to cook with when I'm back there, and that's just I found a really easy way to transport olive oil.
I have that in my camper.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
And then so that's one of them, and then the one that I don't know how it took me so long to discover this one. And I'm sure you guys both do it. I've been doing it for years now, but I missed out on a lot of, I think, quality mornings. If you're like me, which not very many people are in this regard, but if you're like me, you need to take a little stop in the woods before you go wandering into them too deep on a hunting trip in the morning, right?
David.
He's a morning dumper.
It's
okay.
Not,
go ahead. Finish your story.
No. I've got to preface this because no matter what, we will be all ready. We'll have done whatever we needed to do to get out of camp, and we'll get as soon as we hit the trail, 15 paces.
You know that's
I have to go.
It's like Pavlov's dog.
It is.
I can't, and it takes the movement to work it all up.
Yes, the spirit moves you.
It's all happening in your head.
I swear, it's 15.
I'm telling you, it's Pavlov's.
And he looks at me. He's like,
in your mind, you're like, I'm going to poop myself, and so you would, because.
No, it's not a Pavlov. No, not
absolutely
not.
No, I'm going to have to disagree.
If somebody was chasing you with a firearm, you'd be like, you'd be running. You wouldn't be like, oh no, I've got to do this.
I'd be running and doing that at the same time if somebody's chasing me with a firearm. Anyway, baby wipes. And everybody takes baby wipes, right? But it's like nature. It's like a bidet in the woods.
I will tell you that I found that the dollar store has individual small packets of those. Now, I found that so you buy like a bigger packet and then put like 3 in a Ziploc?
Or 50.
Okay. Well, so I found that
because they're used for I use them for all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that, but I'll use them to clean up my hands after if you're
bloody hands.
Bloody hands. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. We'll go there.
Yeah.
So I found that the dollar store has nice small individualized packet ones where basically you open it up and then it's exposed and it's going to dry out. So that's kind of it. But the dollar store has an amazing amount of stuff that is available for hunting. If you think about it, because they've got like packets of salmon, you can get your beanie weenies, you like all your food products are there, right?
You guys
like, for like $1
heavy.
Well,
how can I carry something heavy into the woods?
Well, when have I said
Cans.
it? I'm not the one.
Born in the 70s, man. No, like I said, I'm the one that's carrying the heavy stuff.
I backpack with some guys, by the way, in the summer, and I hope they're listening because we do this every summer. We'll take 70-mile pack trips, and we'll get to camp on the first night. And the first night is the hardest night because usually we're going someplace where the first step is up, and then the next 20,000 steps are up, and we're putting on 4,000 feet of elevation over 13 miles in one day with 50 pounds or whatever, 40 pounds on our back. No, it's probably 50, 55 because we get to camp and they start pulling out bottles of wine.
Oh, no.
Bottles of wine or bags of wine at the very least. 6 packs of beer. Like the amount of weight that goes into this trip.
Well, okay, so I wouldn't actually bring beanie weenies. But if you go to the dollar store, you can find like they're like the plastic packet where you tear it open and it's just sort of vacuum sealed, and you can get protein for $1.
We're not still talking about baby wipes, are we?
No, well, you can get that too.
Oh,
yeah, that's my point though. Is if you go to the dollar store, you can get pre-sealed up, easy to throw in your pack.
Yeah,
baby wipes for that exactly.
So
baby wipes
on my list. So I'm going to piggyback, but I know it's still Mike's turn.
No, we go in whatever order we want.
Tell you the way that the expensive, like the gear junkie guy would do this is like dude wipes.
Dude wipes.
The heck are dude wipes?
So you pay
dude
premium
wipes.
to
Yes.
You want
what?
Yes. Dude wipes. But here's why. Because baby wipes, you're talking about like, you can take them. Dude wipes come in a little tiny package.
Yeah.
That,
you're paying more.
You can put you paying for the convenience, and so you're paying. They sell a whole bunch of them in individual use packs where you get like 2 or 3 of them like folded together in a tiny little thing that you can stick in your pocket. That you can put.
Yeah.
And here's why you do that.
My point is, you could buy a big packet in the Ziploc bag.
But you take 2 of your little dude wipes things. You throw them in your to go chest pack or whatever, and then you don't have to carry a big old thing in your backpack.
I don't carry a big old thing.
Fill it. It's just a convenient way to do it. So look at dude wipes.
Okay. Or go to Sam's Club and buy an 8-pack of 1,000 wipes a piece.
And so in addition to
which is
having
what I
two
do.
of your dude wipes, the other thing that's really nice is individual use Kleenexes. Like the little
one,
Kleenex.
you can buy like one Kleenex?
No, it's like there's small packages of Kleenex, right? So like Mike's got one right there. He just threw it on here.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, that's a great one.
Because those, like, instead of trying to dork around with like getting a roll of toilet paper and roll it around your hand 5 times and stick that in a Ziploc bag, you just carry one of those, and like that'll last you like multiple days having that. It doesn't weigh anything. You have like 3 little things of dude wipes. Once again, very easy to carry, very easy to take care of. And it takes up less space.
So we do similar things. We just do them different ways. Is what I'm hearing here.
You just spend more to do the same thing.
You just spend more to do the same thing.
That's right.
Well, yeah, exactly. Mike's here pulling out all kinds of stuff.
Well, it's because Studio 1A is.
Well, and that's the thing. Is like
you
see, like it's the equivalent of actual paracord versus rope. That's what we're talking about here.
No, it's not.
There's my other rope that I.
Well, that's better. That's better. This is what you should be taking.
Well, that's what I started taking after this year.
So
when we cut up those elk, and I was like, I got
individual thing to carry. I'll throw in right here too because we're talking about this individual things to carry. With that other stuff, go on to Amazon.com and look up chamois butter. CHAMOIS chamois butter. It comes in individual packets.
Yep. Or
you can get a big old wad of it, which is what you probably do, Dave, and then or Mike. And then but it comes in these little, like tiny, like single serve use things. And so what it is, it stops chafing. And so this chamois butter,
is that like bag balm?
It's way better.
No, but is it like a petroleum jelly?
It's not like petroleum jelly. It's more. Feels more like a lotion, but it's like a little waxy thing. It's really good stuff. But just you buy it in the morning. Slap some on, wherever you chafe, and then you won't. Yeah. And that's because after you chafe, it is too late. But you put this on before, and then that little single-use packet that you only used a tiny bit of, you can throw that in your pack with your other stuff, your dude wipes and everything, and then you can reapply later on after you use your baby wipes / dude wipes, and you'll be rocking all day and you won't have any issues.
You know what I'd use to prevent chafing?
I have no idea. What?
I use moleskin.
I don't think you guys are chafing in the same spot.
No, we are. I just got a chunk of moleskin and slap it to my inner thighs. Oh, I don't chafe there.
No,
you're talking. No, we don't chafe.
Just wherever you chafe.
I chafe between my thighs. On occasion.
Thunder thighs. He's got the big boy thighs.
I guess I don't chafe where you're chafing.
That's why I just don't chafe.
But if what I'm thinking is you're not using the baby wipes right. If you're still you're still chafing.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, Mike, you've got to have another one.
So, okay, this one's not. I'm sure you guys do this, so it's not much of a hack, but I think it's the level to which I do this, and it wouldn't be a Dave thing; it'd be more of a Nephi thing. So I grew up in Florida, and camping and doing all that down there. You Ziploc the heck out of everything. I mean, you did not pack a bag that didn't have almost every individual thing in its own Ziploc bag. And so I will Ziploc to the point of Ziplocking things within Ziplocs. So if you had an outfit, let's say, in other words.
Yeah, I was making fun of you for this before.
So if you had like socks.
You're talking about a car and a trailer together? Is that what you call like an outfit? I jump in my
that's an acceptable version of outfit. The way you're describing outfit is never
like my pickup. No.
Your pickup's outfitted.
So if one was fashionable, they would have matching socks, matching pants, matching underwear, matching shirt, matching whatever. And normally you would package that as one sort of, this is everything I need for one day worth of stuff. So that would be an outfit, right?
If you were fashionable.
If you were fashionable.
Or hunted like anybody but me.
Yeah.
Like I wear the same shirt. I'll turn it inside out the next day.
I wear the same shirt, but
it's reversible.
it's still not an outfit.
So I would individually wrap in Ziploc every one of those pieces and then put it in a big Ziploc bag. In order, because of the way how much water there is down there, rain or canoe trips or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And you still do that here.
I still do that here to some, although it's not as bad, but it ends up being a really good way to organize just a giant cavernous backpack that you carry around. Where I carry my 80 pounds of rope
and cans and beanie weenies and all sorts of stuff that you're all in.
Big old frame pack full of like beef stew.
Yes. That's how. Well, okay,
but you don't have to bring a pan because you can just cook it in the can.
That's absolutely right because Dave's got the stove.
Yeah.
Right. No, I did absolutely learn this last time when we carried those elk down the mountain. It's like I carry way too much weight.
Yeah, that's clear.
Of course.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Amen.
I mean, granted, my backpack weighs as much as your pack fully loaded.
You have a heavy bag.
Yeah.
Empty. You have a heavy bag.
Yeah. Well.
And then you put climbing rope in it. Yeah.
Which brings me
100 feet of climbing rope.
Yeah.
To my next point.
Yeah.
Buy once, cry once again with Nephi Cole. Backpacks.
Okay.
If you're gonna...
I got to tell you before you do this, because I'm going to say my backpack thing really quick, because it'll make yours seem that much better. I'm going to tee you up to sound that much better. Until 2 years ago, let me tell you what my backpack setup was.
I know what it was, but go ahead.
Because you talked me into a pack.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So until 2 years ago, here was my setup
Targus.
for back. Yeah, Targus, right? I had an external frame pack. I just had an external pack, right?
Yeah.
On that pack, I would strap a backpack. That backpack, when I went through law school, I had a Targus backpack
because I had
you had the same one.
Yeah.
It has a place to put your laptop computer
That was back
and then
when
books.
they invented the extra
pouch.
Pouch for
the computer for
laptops.
laptops. Yeah. So I used that was my hunting setup. I would have that. That would be my day pack, and then
I remember the first time I saw it, thinking, "Why did I get rid of mine?"
I had that pack, and I used.
I almost just choked taking a drink of water. I almost died.
I used that pack, and then when I had to put a quarter on my pack frame, so I'd strap the quarter, and I had tie downs, and ratchet straps that I used to tie a quarter to this bag.
See, he would carry ratchet.
I had ratchet straps.
Yeah. Metal ratchet straps. Yeah.
Ratchet strap. And I'd throw a quarter on there, and then I'd put my backpack up against it and then use a ratchet strap to tie that backpack to the quarter, to the pack frame. So all of my weight was about as far away from my body as you could get.
Yeah. The fulcrum was...
But then I've seen the light. And I got myself a great new pack.
Yeah.
And so what you're going to say,
invest in a good pack.
I'm all in. I've invested in a good pack.
So, and I am, I'm an absolute pack whore. I've been through a bunch of them.
Yeah. You got any leftovers? Because apparently I need one.
You do.
You do.
Let me think about it. I currently, I actually, I have a couple that are go-tos, but don't save money up front and pay for a high-end backpack rather than paying for 3 old backpacks.
Okay.
Because in the long run, you are going to get the better backpack because you can only go so long. Like the other one's going to break. You're just going to be frustrated with it. So, there are a few companies out there that make, to be honest, I mean, Stone Glacier, is that. I mean, I'm using Stone Glacier right now.
Yeah, really and I'm using Kuiu.
Yeah, and then I've got a Mystery Ranch that I use as a smaller pack, so it's not like I'm not being brand specific.
And we're not trying to plug products here at all.
Exo makes one. Right. Kifaru makes fantastic
packs. Lots of options out there. Just get a good pack.
Yes, get a pack that fits you. That you like, that fits you, and think about how much weight you're going to carry in that pack. Don't buy a backpack, even if you're like, I'm a day hunter. If you day hunt and and you're hunting elk, don't think about yourself like, what can I manage 15 pounds in and be okay? No. You buy a backpack based on the fact that you're going to have 100 pounds in that backpack, and plan on being able to pack comfortably 100 pounds in that backpack, because if you cannot do that, when your body breaks down, when you're on your way back out with your first quarter, you're going to be in real trouble. So go ahead.
So you've paid attention to gear. I mean, you both have. But Nephi, it's on your point. Does it matter internal, external frame?
I think that's a personal preference. Okay. There's some people that make a good external frame pack, and I don't want to,
No, I just want it for
the
folks
listening. In fact, some
listening,
of them are like really. I mean, some of them are almost tweeners now. Where
that's exactly right. Like that's how I describe the Kuiu pack. Is kind of it's an external frame, right? There's not. I mean, it's the bag separates from the pack.
Yeah. But a lot of your good, like I would say, what I'd look for today, if you're look for a hunting pack that has the capacity to carry load, and most of the good ones now, like they are built that way, so that you can separate the bag from the frame, even if it looks more like a traditional internal frame pack. It's kind of a hybrid.
Yeah, I'd call it more of a hybrid. Do you think you need to shop for a hunting pack, or do you think folks can go to a backpacking?
You know what? I would honestly say
both.
I would. Yeah. I think
my hunting pack is my backpacking pack.
Yeah, I would say get a hunting pack now. That's my personal opinion. Yep. I know other people that are like, "Oh no, they're heavier," but the reality is when you get
they're not that much. If you get a good bag,
you're gonna have a few more ounces if you get a hunting specific pack, but it's going to be made of tougher materials, and you're not going to have to shove an elk quarter inside of. Your other bag.
My other bag. So I had an internal frame bag that I use for backpacking all the time.
Yeah,
and
used to.
I have now I use my hunting bag for all that, but I had one. Had Mike borrowing it one year. Well, he came late to the party.
Yes.
We'd killed an elk. He came late to the party just in time to help pack it out.
It was one of those I radiated in. I'm here. I'm down the mountain, the bottom of the mountain. They're on the top. They're like, great.
We need you.
Glad you're here. Come on up and grab a backpack.
Yeah. So he grabbed a bag, and it was my bag. We threw a quarter in it, and it just pooled with blood. Right.
Yeah.
And it's tough to clean it, and it's not great. You want that. You want to put that meat outside the bag.
Yeah, I think we learned that. Even your famous Hefty was
we're getting into one of my greatest hacks of all time.
But on that pack, I kind of my take home on that is just the new packs, you're going to pay for it up front, and most of those good hunting packs, you're going to notice that once you buy your suspension, and that's going to be the frame and the belt and the shoulder straps. After you get the suspension, you're going to note that suddenly most of the packs now, like you can use the same suspension, you can swap out different size bags.
That's what I was getting at. So mine is set up. I have the suspension, the straps, right, and then I've got a day pack size, like 1,800 cubic inches size, right, and then I've got a 7,000 cubic inch pack that I use for multi-day backpacking trips, and I can roll the smaller day pack in.
Yeah,
and because it weighs nothing, it weighs 13 ounces, and I can shove that into the bigger pack. And so when I'm backpacking someplace, and I don't want to have the huge pack for the day, I pop that off the frame, and I pop the day pack onto the frame, and I use that.
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways you can do it.
So many cool ways you can do it,
and some of them now, like I use a R3300 is my favorite, and you can put a dry bag between your quote unquote day bag, your 3,300 cubic inch. You can put you can use your load shelf to carry gear in. So if you're camping for multiple days, and so there's a lot you can do. There's different options, but just remember, you're going to pay a little bit more for that than you are going to, if you're not going to get a pack like that for $100. That's not going to be an inexpensive pack. You're going to pay for it, but you're probably going to have the thing for, if you're Dave, you're never going to buy another backpack.
Right.
Someone does.
My computer bag was my bag for 15 years.
Dave will give his backpack to his children.
I virtually guarantee that.
It will.
Yeah, it's already.
Only because in a few years we're going to be paying for
college.
outfitters.
Oh, outfitter. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, that's right. You had you had a third kid.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking it'll be in my will because it's the most expensive piece of gear. It's worth more than my rifle. It's probably the most expensive piece of hunting equipment I own is my pack.
Speaking of your rifle, it's certainly worth more than the sling on your rifle.
Yeah, so that's another hack. Oh, let me run through. I've just got like three little ones I'll run through real quick, and then I'll end it for mine. I'm going to end it with one that you know is coming that I just have to throw it out there. I hunt, everybody listening knows. Well, if they don't, they do now. I'm super cheap, and I hunt as cheaply as possible. And part of me, it's like a glutton for the misery, and I kind of relish in the misery, kind of being miserable when I'm out there. And part of it is just I'm too cheap to not be miserable.
No, it's stubbornness.
And there's some of that since I've gotten to know you, Nephi. More just I don't want to capitulate to you.
To sanity.
Right. So here are a couple of things. Like I know you have, for example, really nice shooting sticks. I have shooting sticks as well. I made them out of a dowel and a wing nut. 2 dowels. I had to cut the one dowel in half. That cost me like 37 cents. Sanded the ends, drilled a little hole through it, put a wing nut in there.
I use my trekking poles.
Makes a nice little shooting stick. I know you do. You did a nice video on that.
I don't even have trekking poles.
I've had some issues with my sling for a number the pin popped out and I lost it, and I just haven't gotten around to getting a new.
So you, let's be clear. You have the type of rifle where there's a hollowed out hole in the forestock.
You got
that. There should be a pin like a cotter pin that runs through there, and then your sling comes off.
It's a non-standard sling because it's a Ruger.
Right.
So
exactly.
it's an older Ruger. So preface that with that. It's not like
right. It's hard to find.
Yeah.
So even if you could find it, you wouldn't pay for it.
Probably not.
So for as long as I've hunted with you, you originally used zip ties.
Zip ties to hold the sling
the little
on.
White, kind of clearish white, small, 6 to 8 inch zip ties.
Until we were out in one really cold day, like at below zero.
Oh yeah,
like 15 below zero or more. It was really, really cold.
Yeah.
And that I like 4 or 5 of the zip ties just froze and snapped.
Yeah. Literally, we're walking along and his rifle falls and I'm like, oh my god. So then we'd have to wait because it'd take him 10 minutes to take his gloves off, and then it would take him 10 minutes to get in his bag, and then he'd have to put his gloves back on because they were so cold. Find his zip ties and then re-zip it and kind of use your teeth and all that, and then we'd walk along for another hour and then snap. Did it all over again.
So
very safe.
So I upgraded to baling wire. So now I actually carry wire with me because I find that you can use that wire for a lot of things. Like, for example, if you catch a fish out in the middle of nowhere, right, and you want to cook it up, you can run that baling wire from its butt through its mouth and put it over a fire, and you don't have to worry about the stick burning up. You just put it on wire. So I take that with me, but I also use that to repair my gun.
Yeah, right. To keep your gun from falling off and shooting me.
Right. So that's just a little hot tip right there.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't use zip. It's good to have zip ties around, but don't necessarily use them as a pin for your sling.
Nephi
tried
is perplexed.
But baling wire works brilliantly.
Yeah, works every time.
It does if you don't. I mean, you got to get a little electrical tape around the end of it where you tie it off. Otherwise, it's you're going to cut your clothes or maybe yourself.
Yeah, sure.
But that the last one I'd leave you with, and I've got a whole bunch of them. Maybe we'll talk about more later. But the last one I'd leave you with, this is my hack, and you guys make fun of me. You've made fun of me a lot over the past who knows how long.
I don't know
for
what
this
you're
one.
talking about.
Not at all, right? I'm a big proponent of using garbage bags for a lot of different things. I carry garbage bags with me.
Just not garbage.
Just not garbage. I carry garbage bags with me.
That's what
wherever
shopping bags
I
are
go.
for.
So I carry garbage bags with me wherever I go, and I use them for the following reasons, right? For the following things. 1, in place of Ziploc bags. So I don't separate all my stuff out like you do, Mike, but I do put my clothes in a garbage bag.
I forgot to tell you that I used to put all of my Ziploc bags in a garbage bag in my backpack.
See? So you do use garbage bags.
Because I've been on a backpacking trip rained for a week.
Yeah, me too.
You're just like, oh,
and
come on.
you need
Like
extra
the
garbage
whole
bags
week.
for that.
The cheap backpack.
You need extra garbage bags for that. So I'll use garbage bags to cover my backpack when it's raining.
Oh yeah.
I use garbage bags as ponchos.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that. Not just poncho, but like a sleet blocker.
Yes, I use it for that
I've seen
as
that.
well. It works as a dry bag. Or a wet bag.
Yeah, right.
It's just a bag.
Yeah.
I use it to put, when I bone out an elk, and I put it in the cloth, the mesh bags, right, in the cloth bags. I still don't want the blood to get onto my clothes or my bag.
Sure.
So I put a garbage bag over that.
Yeah.
Recognizing that if it's a really hot day, probably won't do that. But if it's not super hot, I'm going to put a garbage bag over that, and then I got to get it off fast so it can air out. But it's just to keep the blood from going all over the place. It's such a versatile tool.
I carry them too.
Garbage bags.
I carry them too.
But and I know a lot of people carry them and they use them for various things. But I just want to say, don't discount the value of a garbage bag as an emergency poncho.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or an everyday poncho.
Yeah.
Or bona fide rain gear.
Well, let's not go too far.
I'm going to agree with you and say I carry an 80-gallon contractor bag.
Yeah.
That's it. One.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, one.
They're just so light. Why not carry 6?
What do you do? What do you do with the one bag?
It's an emergency deal. It's like emergency.
Please say poncho. Please say poncho. Please say poncho.
No, I carry rain gear to wear when it rains because I can reuse that. And once again, it's just like gators. If you get cheap rain gear, you're not going to be happy that you're carrying rain gear because the only time you're going to use it, you're going to be stranded in the rain, not moving around, sweating. If you invest in good rain gear, what you're going to note is that you can hunt all the time. You can sit in the middle of someplace. You're not going to get wet. Yeah. If it's snowing, you don't care. If you have to be moving, walking around and stuff, it really doesn't matter because you're actually going to stay dry, and you're going to stay dry from both the stuff coming down and from the stuff coming out, meaning your sweat. And so if you don't invest in good rain gear, you will get wet.
Yeah, I'm not going to advise people not to have good rain gear. I don't take good rain gear with me, and I've been in.
Well, you have good rain gear now.
I just have never used it. Yeah,
but you were gifted.
It was gifted to me. Yeah, so I do have good rain gear now.
And I own good rain gear now after we went hunting on that. Oddly enough, rained like crazy over that last weekend of October that year at 10,000 feet.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was crazy.
Yep, there was a lot of rain.
And you came back and bought rain gear.
Yeah,
I did. I didn't.
So it happens to everybody.
I did not do that.
After you almost die, if you've got enough stuff working on your head.
Yeah, and I should say, don't take my. I'm not saying this stuff to say take my advice. Part of it is just, like I told you, I've kind of.
It's a stubbornness.
It's a stubbornness. It's kind of in some ways enjoy the misery. I've been like unbelievably miserable at times and just soaked to my core, and early warning signs of hypothermia setting in. I recognize what I do sometimes is probably foolish. Isn't the right word. Stupid is probably a better word.
You wouldn't tell your kids to hunt.
I would
how you
never ever tell my kids to hunt the way I do. Part of me takes pride in being able to do it just as cheaply as I possibly can.
The survival skills are fine.
I understand. I will notice the difference here, in that you will skirt danger. I will not. Nephi will not. Boy Scouts?
Yeah.
Boy Scouts.
Weeblos.
Yeah. So you didn't get the life-saving
I went all the way through
training of Boy
Weeblos.
Scouts. Yeah. Eagle Scout. Did you make it to Eagle, Nephi?
I didn't.
You star.
It's a regression. It's life.
It's fine.
So you mean I was because of that, I'm more of a risk taker?
Well, you've always described me and folks in my position as being generalists, and then you were more of a specialist, because you got all the same training and everything like that.
Sure.
Hunting. Uh-huh. I just got it more in city-based.
Yeah. I only know how to tie like 2 kinds of knots.
Well, I only use 2.
Right.
If you don't know how to tie knots, tie lots.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly right. One more absolutely serious one, and then we'll call it a day. Right? Dead serious on this. This was a life changer for me, and we're going to have the guy on. We're going to have the guy on to do a podcast about the story behind this. But because of a really scary experience in the middle of the night, working on my moose about 5 years ago, I now, for everything, I always carry a fillet glove with me, a steel mesh fillet glove with me, to work on animals in the field, to process animals in my own garage. I always use it because, and like I said, we'll do the whole story at some point.
Yeah.
But a buddy of mine and I working on my elk after 12 hours of no food in the middle of the night, and having worked on that animal for several hours, just as we were getting done with it, my buddy cut himself in a real bad way. And if he'd been off by another inch or two, he might not be with us anymore. Because of that, I do two things. I carry a steel mesh glove with me for everything. I always wear it because I just don't want to nick myself. And I do some hunting alone, so I don't want to nick myself. And two, I bought a Havilon knife, which is the thing that he cut himself with. Because he cut himself, it went straight to the bone, nicked his bone. I'm like, in one slice, he did that. I'm like, man.
That's a really good knife.
That's a really good knife. And it's super light. But so my hack is, it's just from a pure safety standpoint. Plus, what I've found is not just from a safety standpoint. Grip. I find it a lot easier to grip the skin. And I have more confidence cutting with, when I'm really working in a hind quarter or something and trying to cut that meat off the bone. Having that added protection of that glove gives me more confidence to work the meat to get the cutting done faster. But it also allows me a lot more grip.
I have one for the same reason.
I don't fatigue. My hand doesn't fatigue as quickly.
So I wasn't on that trip, but I know the guy you're talking about, and I know your story, and that's why I have one too.
I do not carry one. But I will tell you what I do carry that I bet you don't, but you should. So a lot of hunters, I'm going to guess, don't carry this. They may carry a fillet glove, but I carry a small trauma kit.
I always do.
And so
100%.
I've got,
and that's what that guy needed.
And so I've got.
We had it. We used it all up.
The clot sort of. Yeah. I got one of those too.
Quick clot, and I've got a tourniquet.
Yep.
And mine, and I would tell you, look,
Absolutely.
If you don't know this.
That's a must-have. That's an absolute must-have.
Mine's from a tactical company, and so we have been.
What are the odds?
No, but it's good. But the reality is, our nation has been in some conflicts for the last 20 years, where guys are making really good, very small, ready to go kits that you can go out and from, and I forget the name, like Dark Angel Medical or whatever, and you can get one of those suckers that you can put it in in a shirt pocket almost.
Right.
And you can certainly put it in the pocket of like your hunting shirt or whatever. Mike's got one right there. His is bigger.
Well, of course, because I apparently always buy those.
Because he hunts with 25 people apparently.
No, it's one
that are all going to lose limbs on the same trip.
It's called Trauma Pack.
Mine's like the size of this iPhone right here and twice as thick, and it's got everything that you need for the real bad stuff. It's not going to have like all the like a set of tweezers and then a little book to read while you take a dump or whatever like that, like to make you happy. But it's if things go really bad and you need to get somebody out of the woods, then it's got what you need in there, and you never have to be without it.
Yeah,
and you shouldn't.
No, this is a great one to end with, because I think I carry one, Mike carries one, you carry one. It's a don't leave home without it, and I've always carried it because I was taught at a young age to have something like this in my pack at all times, and I have had to use it twice. Hopefully, nobody ever has to use it once, but I've had to use it twice. Once on myself and once on somebody else. And so it is.
And I can remember from hunter safety that the knife wounds in hunting is the most common accident.
That was what I had to use on myself, too. I had a knife wound cleaning out an elk.
One of the most, you're more likely to, if you're going to die hunting, you're more likely to die from a knife wound problem.
From a gunshot.
Than a gunshot,
Yeah, but just remember broadheads are nasty too.
Holy smokes!
So people, get a Cat 5 tourniquet. They're super light. You can put them on by yourself if you're all by yourself. But the other thing is, get a couple of them and figure out how to use one. Screw around with one enough that you can actually apply a tourniquet. Don't buy a tourniquet and then when you need it, be like, oh, I wonder how this thing works. I wonder if that's, make sure that you know how to use it. Take the time to Google it and not be dumb about it.
I can tell you from experience that when you haven't had a bite to eat in 17 hours and you've already hiked 9-10 miles.
There are multiple lessons in that.
On a mountain, and you've run out of water, and you have no food, and it's the middle of the night, and you're cleaning up, quartering out a moose, right? The level of fatigue that sets in at that point.
Delirium.
Yeah, you're going to make mistakes. Mistakes at that time of night, at that distance from any kind of help, like you got to be prepared. And I look forward to having this buddy on so we can tell this full story, because it's kind of a cool story. It's a really cool story.
Here's the other thing. I mean, it's great advice and everything you said is true. People, there's really not a great reason to not have a Snickers bar freaking in your backpack.
Yeah,
or two of them that you're never going to touch.
Right.
That'll
just be part of the story.
They just sit in there, and you leave them there. And there's really not a good reason. And Mike, this is one of yours that you didn't get to.
That's why
there's not a good reason to not have some way to purify water.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're saying like you're like, oh, these things happen, and we're not, like, the reality is, like, what if you can't move, and it's not because you have a game animal you can leave? What if you're there for a prolonged period? You should, plan ahead, plan on being where you're at long enough that, that you can get the water when you need it. Don't plan on your water being in the truck.
Yeah, well, and I should say, we ran out of water because we had a gaping flesh wound that we needed to clean out and disinfect.
Yeah.
That's where we ran out of water.
Well, and we were hunting a couple years later with the same guy, and that's when I really found the value of the water, the quick water filtration system that Nephi's talking about.
Matt Hubler is bad luck.
Yeah, right.
That is the take. I'm just
he was
kidding,
great.
Matt.
He was great luck. He was there when I killed my moose and helped me pack it out.
No, yeah, he's a good guy for that. It's just not. My point being, don't just rely on the little tablets where you have to wait a half hour and have bad tasting water. Have something with it just instantaneous rehydration, because that day that I'm thinking of, we were out half the day and I realized I didn't have any water. I forgot to refill. I never do that, and I just forgot. And if I had not had that water, our day would have been done. I would have been hiking back to go to camp or something. And it just, it's just a quick.
I drink a ton of
thing.
Water too.
Oh, I do too.
I do too.
Like that's like you pump it. Right?
More than half of the weight in my pack on any given day is water or Powerade or something with electrolytes in it.
I found
a lot of liquid in my pack.
I found a platypus water sort of bladder that 3 liters.
Yeah.
And
I carry 3 liters.
I can run through.
And I'll pump through it.
I can run through 2 of those in a day, easy.
Yeah.
Speaking of water, man, we should probably end this. But I got a point. This is another one. This is just a super simple thing.
Hours. This is now.
Yeah.
This is now your mountain after dark.
That's right.
Yeah.
Still going. But that when you're talking about water, it makes me think of one thing. A lot of people use hydration packs with the hose, right? And I've hunted with several people.
Oh, you're going. Go ahead. This is great.
Is this one you had?
I've got a hack for what you're about to say happens. Go ahead.
Yeah, so do I. And maybe our hacks are different, so this might be great. There might be 2 different ways to do this. But one thing that happens, that I've seen happen with a number of people I hunt with, is we'll be hiking. It'll be cold, right? And we stop for a water break, and my hose is frozen, and water all the way up the line frozen, and they're sitting there, not able to drink. Right. And so it's a super, super simple solution. Unless it's 40 below zero, it's a super simple solution. You've got your hydration pack in your pack. First of all, make sure that the pack itself isn't on the external part of the backpack. Make sure it's internal on those super cold days next to your back, so it's getting some radiant heat from you. And then after you take a drink, blow into that hose and blow the water back into the bag.
Yeah, it's like one of those things.
And then vacuum. I mean, when you seal that back up, it's going to vacuum seal, and it's not going to let the water back into the hose.
Everybody learns this the hard way. If I feel like they're like, well, it's, and you're like, no, dude, just blow out.
It's super simple hack.
Just blow until you hear a bubble.
Yeah.
And then feel it.
And then close it, and then that'll seal it. And that water's not going to come down the hose.
I buy the insulated line.
Yeah.
Which
will help.
Which will buy you 10 more degrees, but
and it's just in that situation, you're still going to blow it out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So here's a kind of a fun hack, which is, it's a very small thing. Same issue. Powdered Gatorade.
Yeah.
Throw some in your water. So first of all, you'll drink better because you'll hydrate enough because
you'll get some electrolytes first. Yeah,
you get some electrolytes, and you can overdo it. You don't want to do nothing but put some Gatorade in there. It also it's very slightly, but it lowers the freezing point.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't matter too much as long as you keep that pack right up near your back too, because that heat from your back is going to keep that pack from freezing. But the two problems I see are people putting the hydration pack on the outside of their bag. Obviously it's in the bag, but on an outside pocket or something where it's not getting any kind of heat. And so that can freeze in there and then not blowing out that hose, and that line freezes up, and then you're miles from anywhere and you can't hydrate.
You're trying to, you end up, what you can do is you take the hose and you slip the hose inside your, up through your armpit.
Right. And then
that's what you have to do. It's
but then you're robbing your body of heat.
Yeah, but not much. But that's certainly something you don't want to have to do. In a vein of that, but usually, a gallon of water a day, right, is what you should be taking minimum. So a 3 liter hydration. It's always nice to keep a little bit of bottled water someplace in your pack anyway as an absolute backup. But the other thing is, when you stop to do your mountain house, if you've got a bunch of Gatorade in your platypus, you're going to need water for your mountain house. So I do it the other way around, just so you know. Mm-hmm. I always take a 2 liter hydration pack, just water. Mm-hmm. And then I'll throw in a 32-ounce Gatorade or 32-ounce Powerade. Yeah. I'll throw that in my pack. So if I'm going to cook anything, I'll just use the water in the hydration pack. But if for some reason there's a freezing issue, I still have the Gatorade or the Powerade.
I can tell you that every time we stop at lunch or whenever you pull that Powerade out, and I go, damn it, I forgot again. Yeah, I am jealous. I'm looking at that going, that looks tasty.
I always do it because part of it, getting that little bit of flavor, but getting those electrolytes,
a can of beef stew,
some beanie weenies.
Oh, dang it.
I just wanted some beanie weenies.
I wish I had that beef stew.
Giant can opener and just start twisting the thing.
Yeah, like, Mike, do you have a giant rope that I could use to rappel back to camp? The can opener. Yeah.
Well,
any last things? I mean, I've got more that we can save for another day.
Well, I can tell you that if you've made it this far, I don't have any more little tidbits or things, but if you've made it this far and you can tell me a good sort of how to shoot a recurve bow as opposed to a compound bow, I've got now a new string and a bunch of new fletched arrows.
Use the force.
And I could use some help. And does that recurve bow I have from the 70s count as a trad bow? And am I hip now? Write in. Let me know. No. I want to hear. I want to hear from the public.
Okay, write into Your Mountain at itsyourmountain.com.
Or on Facebook or whatever. Just if anybody wants to post on there, help poor Mike figure out how to shoot my daughter was trying to teach me how to shoot the recurve bow today.
I told you, it's like you're on the Millennium Falcon. You just got to close the visor.
Yeah, right, the shield. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Well,
what would be a podcast if Nephi didn't have a Star Wars reference?
That's true. That's true. Hey, so the other thing I'd like to know from folks, do you have any other little hacks that you'd share?
Yeah, that's a good question.
share them if you got them, or if you have an iteration on something that we've shared, something that you do slightly differently and you think is better than the way we do it. Frankly, what we've learned tonight is everything everybody does is better than the way I do it.
Or lighter than the way I do it.
I go in light
or less expensive than the way I do it.
I go in light, hungry, and cold, and you're
just happy.
You're just happy and comfortable.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying life.
Mike's a little OCD.
Yeah, right.
But well organized. I can tell you, he takes with his trailer. He's got a little pop-up that we'll sleep in when we're doing.
Yeah, my kids aren't going to college, but boy, do I like hunting.
So we'll sleep in his pop-up sometimes, or when we're in a place where we don't have to take a tent, right?
Yeah.
We'll sleep in his pop-up, and I'll tell you, it's organized much like he's described his bag. Mm-hmm. Individual bins for everything. It's just immaculate.
I love it. Over here, just like moving stuff around his desk. Just like
I love it.
Every time I move something new, and then just come back and see if he's corrected it. It's very amusing.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know if you have any other hacks. If this is something this kind of format, this type of information, this is different from what we normally do.
Yeah. We're not going to do this a bunch. People, don't worry. This isn't where we're going.
But if you want us to work in more things like this, we're happy to do it. Let us know. Mm-hmm. Or if you'd say, you know what, I can just Google hacks and we're good, then we won't do this anymore. But we just have 3 different ways of hunting. 3 different perspectives on little tips, and take them for what you want. Probably listen to Nephi's more than mine.
It's everybody, like, that's the cool thing. Everybody's different. Nobody's wrong.
That's it, and that's kind of the point here.
This is kind of except the
Mike,
garbage bag.
Well, no, I was gonna say except Mike taking 100 yards of inch thick rope.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
That's like. At least I know if we need to winch my truck out.
Well, yeah. I'm prepared. Be prepared.
But if anything good has come from this podcast, it's that Mike is now going to take a lighter paracord, an actual paracord.
Have you seen that Clint Eastwood movie about the hanging judge?
Huh? Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I got to figure out a way to make that into like your thing.
My thing?
Yeah, the judge.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
Someday.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, guys?
Dental floss. That's what I'm going to carry.
That's what you're going to start carrying? That won't be that effective, I don't think.
Yeah.
That'd be more like something I'd try. Just to see.
Probably floss your teeth with it.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Terrible tourniquet.
Hey, you guys have anything else?
That's it.
No.
Well, good. I don't either. So why don't we leave it there? And for everybody that stuck with us through this, thank you. And remember that life is about experiences, so go have one.